Went through wife's phone as I had a suspicion, and I was right. It's my birthday too, BTW. I never anticipated to be writing a blog post on this site, yet here I am. For years, my wife has feigned to friends and family that we don't look into each other's phones because we have complete faith in one another. What a complete and utter load of rubbish. She arrived at her residence at 10 p.m. yesterday night, completely drunk, and crashed out on the couch. I had been becoming suspicious of her lately since she had been going around naked from the bedroom to the bathroom and vice versa a lot more than she usually did. In and of itself, this isn't noteworthy. Nonetheless, she was also avoiding me and casting me strange looks throughout the process. In the event that she passed unconscious while being beaten, I knew she wouldn't wake up on her own for hours. I took advantage of the opportunity to say forget it and scratch an itch that had been niggling at me, so I pulled her phone out of her purse and put it in my pocket. I popped it up and instantly went to my Snapchat account. It's true that she's been conversing with a male, but there's still no evidence of this. Then I looked through her messages to see whether she'd been texting her father, her stepfather, since she was 2 years old and throughout her adolescence. She had. When he wants money, he has been known to demand nudity from her in return for it. She has been known to oblige him, although this was before I knew her. From 1:24 p.m. that day until 10 p.m. that night, all text messages were deleted. It was 1:24 p.m. when her dad texted her to say, "Dang, it looks like it's time for Junior." He responded by texting back, "Yes it is," to which she answered, "Well, it seems like I'm going to have to rub one out. WTF. Following that, she began pleading for money through text message after she had built up a $300 tab at the unofficial Christmas party. After determining that something wasn't quite right, I browsed through her images and discovered nothing but erased pictures. The picture of her on our couch flashing her was discovered at 1:22 p.m. by me. I was just in the next room. Like it's not real, pretend it didn't happen, just to find out it's much worse than you thought. Every day over the past 30 days, I was exposed to several graphic images of her. The deleted file only holds pictures for 30 days. It's important to remember that I haven't received any photos from her in months, and that the ones I have seen have never been this explicit. Afterwards, I came upon 2 nude images of a guy our age who lives in our neighborhood, along with 2 naked photos of her that were taken about the same time. I was familiar with his girlfriend, but not with him, so I immediately emailed his photographs to her and told her of what had occurred. I took photos of everything, and I mean everything, with my phone and then turned to face my wife, who was also taking shots with her phone. She was mumbling and denying everything, but as she was denying, she was simultaneously removing evidence from her phone. I went from our home to my mother's house, which is on the same land. I spent my day playing with our 3-year-old daughter, fretting about what was going to happen, until I received a text from my wife at 2 a.m. just after my daughter had gone to sleep. Yes, my daughter has a messed up sleeping pattern, and yes, we're working on it. Also, because of work, my wife seldom sees our kid, and even when she does, she doesn't spend much time with her, stating we need to discuss. I went home thinking only about divorce. She begged and pleaded with me, stating she was becoming like her mother, who suffers from bipolar illness and a few other mental diseases. I've observed my wife gradually developing the same issues, but not quite as severe. Her mother was likewise a screwed-up parent who really messed my wife up in the brain, though she was skilled at concealing it most of the time. She said that she just wanted the attention and that it was all about the images. She started cursing herself, weeping, and begging me not to leave her. I'm not sure whether I can believe what she's saying, but nothing had changed except the strange nakedness, and she had still been treating me with all of the love in the world. But, if she really cared about me, why would she send nudes to other men, notably her horrible father in particular? She further said that she was not compensated for any of her efforts and that she was just doing it for the sake of drawing attention to herself. I treat her like a queen so she gets plenty of attention at home, and my S-drive is way higher than hers too. I have to think about my daughter in this situation because if I divorce my wife, she will most likely get the short end of the stick when it comes to custody here in Texas. They always seem to side with the mother unless they're under the influence of drugs. And she will most likely move in with her mother and her husband, which would severely disrupt my child's life and that of her siblings. Aside from that, her father owns her mother's house and her husband's, and he established a rule years ago that I am not authorized to go over there under any circumstances, due to his enviousness and desire for her, or he would push them out of their home. However, although I know she cares about me and I can tell she's genuine in her apologies, I cannot be certain that she will not repeat the behavior. I immediately blocked her from communicating with her dad and the F-boy, and I made it plain that if she ever spoke with either of them again or sent nudes to another man, I would file for divorce immediately. My wife believes that I'm giving her a second chance, I caught her engaging in similar shady behavior approximately 2 months into our relationship before we were married, but I'm still on the fence about it all and don't know what to do. My biggest concern in this situation is my child. Furthermore, we both have good careers, so money isn't an issue for either of us. My actions have consisted only of my love for her, and I've been hoping for the same result for quite some time. After all, it's almost my birthday and I didn't sleep or couldn't sleep the night before, which means I am still up and have been for about 24 hours. My energy levels aren't depleted, I'm just unable to sleep any longer. She didn't sleep either after our chat, and I can see it's bothering her, yet, it didn't stop her from going to have her hair done later that evening. I'd want to wish you a very happy birthday on your special day. Sorry for the long piece, there's a lot to disentangle here, and there's a lot more to this than I've covered here, but I'm not trying to write a book. Story 2. I caught my wife cheating with a good friend. The day before yesterday was one of the most trying of my life. Because discussing this would be too embarrassing, I made a fictitious account. My job requires me to travel on occasion, and I had planned to be out of town for the weekend as part of my vacation. In another city several hours away, I had an important conference to attend that I wanted to make it there on time. It was a Friday evening, and I was en route to the airport in order to catch my flight the next morning. After a few hours of waiting, I get a text from my boss informing me that he is feeling under the weather and that the meeting has been postponed. This has already enraged me to a great extent. I wasted the whole of my day and missed out on a chance to network with prominent persons. The automobile of a buddy was parked in the driveway as I was driving back to my apartment. Seeing as how it was unexpected, I figured he was in the neighborhood and decided to pay him a visit. It was impossible for me to imagine this guy betraying me since I'd known him since high school. I looked around the first floor but couldn't see anybody, so I decided to go upstairs. After overhearing a discussion in the master bedroom, I decided to look inside. I was taken aback when I discovered one of my closest friends having relations with my wife. She and him were both naked, and I could tell how depressed and hungover this guy was. His penis was a good deal longer and heavier in weight than mine was. I instantly confronted them and expelled my friend. I couldn't think of anything more to say, and my wife continued to apologize for her actions. The reason she did it was beyond me, and I couldn't tell whether it was her first time cheating. We had a heated discussion about how our life had been a catastrophe and how she wanted to have with other men. Our marriage had come to an end at this point, and I filed for divorce within a few days of finding out. In the 4 months after this transpired, I've descended into a state of complete despair. What made her believe that the was bad? Considering that my is only a little shorter than average, 5.25 inches, I didn't expect to have any difficulties. Every single girl I've been with has been wonderful, and no one has ever complained. When I'm having with someone, they typically seem to like it. Is it possible that she's speaking the truth here? I'm losing my mind trying to find out the truth, and it's affecting my self-esteem. It's been a while since I've talked to my friend about this event, and I'm still enraged that he stabbed me in the back for no apparent reason. I'm at a loss on what to do to get myself out of this rut I've found myself in.